I did over 200K with one of my clients' brands in the last 30 days. And in this video, I'm going to show you how we're tracking for 2.4 million this year. My name is Lou Antonio. I've been in ecom for 10 years. I've done well over 10 million in online sales. I've been featured on BBC Dragon's Den, Shopify Masters podcast. I've been around for a while. And the purpose of this video is I want to show you how you can shave years and hopefully save hundreds of thousands on your ecom business or your online business so that you can literally track and follow exactly what I'm doing and miss out on all of the mistakes. And the reason I say that is because when I started, I didn't have the faintest clue what I was doing. In my head, I assumed we need big teams and agencies, like a lot of overheads and operational expenditures in order even just to get to 100K a month, when in reality, you do not need any of that. So let's get into it. So first one. All right. If you're watching this video, I'm going to put a 99% certainty that you are either the owner, entrepreneur, CEO, whatever you want to call yourself. And you are the driving force behind your brand. And the thing you have to think about is when you're running a business, you don't really have anyone telling you what to do. You don't have bosses. You don't have anyone really holding you accountable. So sometimes it can be difficult for you to know what to be working on. So I'm going to show you, just starting with this video, exactly what you need to be working on in terms of execution, because you are the captain of your ship. No one's coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. So literally pay attention, because this is going to change everything for you, particularly so if you listen, you implement this straight away. So you're, as the CEO, as the captain of your ship, as the entrepreneur, you're responsible solely for the vision and the strategy. You don't necessarily have to be involved in the execution, but in the beginning, if you're a new brand, it is very important, I think, that you roll your sleeves up and you get involved. The reason I say that is because if you go straight to outsourcing, obviously it's going to be expensive. And I don't know if you're well-funded or not, if it's self-funded or bootstrapped, but sometimes it's really good for you to understand, at least from a fundamental basis, a lot of the technical moving parts of an ecom business. Because as you probably know, if you run a business or you're just starting, every single day you have to wear a lot of different caps. And most times these are things you've never had to do before. Like, let me just give an example of a typical day. You're looking at dashboards, so finance. You're getting involved with problems with customers, so customer service. You have a lot going on the supply chain, so on the logistics, you have problems with 3PL. So you're in supply chain. Or then you have problems with your employees, so now you're in management mode. Like, this is just like a standard morning. No 2 day really looks the same, but it's important, if possible, that you're able to kind of remove yourself from this. But to be able to operate and make effective decisions, it's really important that you get involved in the beginning, because then you can hold your staff, your employees, contractors accountable to a high standard, and they can't just come in and blind you with the science, because it's quite easy sometimes for them to do that if you don't understand like the core fundamental parts. And this is no more relevant when it comes to performance marketing, because if it's selling direct to consumer, this is probably going to be your primary role and objective in the beginning. It is not chief executive officer. You are chief sales officer. You need to be telling everything and everyone, or making sure that everyone within your market or niche knows about you and your product. So getting involved with this is like literally tantamount to you becoming successful at all, or even making any sales online. The vision needs to be, where are you going? What are you optimizing for? And we can take a macro lens. So in the instance of this video, we're pushing for £2.4 million this year. This is the North Star goal. And then we work backwards and, okay, right, how do we actually execute on that? Okay, this becomes your, like, literally one of the most important tasks for you to obsess over, because you can break it down, you can work backwards and figure out, okay, what are the core constituent elements of what does a 2.4 million a year business look like? Operationally, from a marketing spend, from supply chain, all of this. This is your job, right? No one can really replace you in the business, at least not in the beginning stages. And really, you don't want to, because you're going to be responsible for setting everything up and then managing and then scaling it. Okay, so key job. This is going to be you. And again, I could do a whole video just on what your kind of normal day-to-day looks like as a CEO. But we're talking here about keeping everything nice and lean whilst not working yourself to the bone, because it is tempting. And I did this for maybe the first 4 years of business, as I thought I could just do everything. And as things ramp up in scale, you just get burnt out. You set off in business thinking, I want time, location, financial freedom. And what happens is you see the dream of being able to work anywhere, everywhere. What the reality is you're working everywhere all the time and you don't have any time spare. And then the business owns you. And this is a horrible place to be because you feel trapped, particularly so when you've got systems and people relying you on customers and everyone's coming to you with problems. You can't take a day off because you're directly involved operationally. For example, if you're doing fulfillment from home in the beginning, you can't take a day off. Yeah, if you're ill, orders still have to go out. You still have to be replying to customers. You still have to be managing the marketing, and it's no fun. It's okay for the first few months to figure everything out, but at a certain point, you're going to want to hire things out to key strategic hires, and these are the two that I'd recommend you start with. So, first one is ads. Okay, so. So you really want to be hiring a consultant or an agency. Agencies sometimes are better because you're not dependent on one person. But the way I did it is I scoured for a long time to find someone who is confident and competent across the key marketing channels that we were driving our business growth on. So in this case, it was Meta. That's probably responsible for 90% or 85%, and Google. So Google AdWords, the whole SEO side of things. And again, at scale, this will probably require an agency or it will require a multiple guys, each specializing in each, okay? But at this scale, this is nothing really, okay? You don't need to kind of spread and have too much going on. Like this is achievable, as I said, with a team of 3, with a few contractors on the side. We want to keep things lean. We don't want to stretch our costs. Because remember, we're in this to make profit, to create a life for ourselves. We're not doing this to be trapped into something working 24/7. Because if you've come from a 9-to-5 world, you will literally exchange working 8 hours a day for working 18 hours a day. And it's no fun, okay? So first one is ads. Now, ads for me isn't just watching dashboards or setting up campaigns. Because if you think about where we are right now, ads have never really been easier to run. Like it's not difficult. If we're looking at Meta, we have AI, we have systems, all of this stuff where the focus really isn't on the ad or campaign structure. Yes, it's important, but it's not something you need to be in and out every day. The focus is content. So if you can blend someone who understands ads or Meta ads, which we're just going to focus on for the purpose of this video, and then they have like a secondary role of, yes, they're managing the actual ad, the structure, etc., the scaling, the spend, but they also have a very keen interest and involvement in UGC, in influencers, in creating and curating and commissioning content, scripting, for example, because these guys, your ads, this key hire, this is going to be like literally your number one guy because this is responsible for this. This is the pipeline. If you do not get your front end fixed, you don't get this input-output machine. It's impossible for you to make any sales whatsoever. So this, for me, is always going to be the number one hire. And I don't, as I said, don't need to be just someone watching dashboards. I want them proactively involved in the strategy. So as I said, they're writing scripts, they're reviewing things, they have some basic knowledge of graphic design so they can set up statics, all right? So they're multifaceted, and this is why it's important to get an A player. And with everyone in this small business, you can only afford to hire and work with A players. If you have B, C, and D players, it's no good. Yes, they might be cheaper, but they will cause you problems. They will cost you growth, they will cost you time, and they will actually end up costing you more money in opportunity cost than having and paying a little bit extra for someone who's dialed in, has experience, and can actually guide you. Because if you're coming in as a CEO, it's your business. It doesn't necessarily mean you are the best one placed to do digital marketing, particularly so if you don't have any experience in digital marketing. If you can leverage someone else's experience, you can plug in, you can save yourself decades of experience in a straight intern, and they can help direct you, direct the brand, direct the content. All right, so that's number one. Number two, everyone neglects this. Email. So your email marketing, everyone sleeps, at least everyone that comes to me in the beginning, they always seem to sleep on email marketing. And the reason that is the wrong thing to do is because, speaking personally, I can show you screenshots if you want. I would say the average revenue from solely email marketing every single month is between 40 and 60% of revenue. So if your email marketing is not dialed in, it's literally costing you almost double what you're making at the minute. So again, huge opportunity cost. And email isn't something you just do once, set it and forget it. Email is something where you need to, yes, have all of your flow set up and running correctly. So you have your automations. These need to be constantly A/B tested. You always want to be iterating on new offers, all of this side of things. The pop-up is really important. It needs its own strategy. Email as well, if you want more of a multifaceted guy or girl who can blend copywriting and also graphic design, because that's the merger of skill sets, and obviously understand systems. And then for the day-to-day, the week-to-week, their focus, other than A/B testing and optimizing, is they need to be doing value campaigns. They need to be sending at least 3 campaigns to either your whole or segmented parts of your database every single week. And this, believe it or not, it takes time, it takes experience, and most of it blends back into your content, right? Because again, every digital touch point with our consumers online is content. It falls under the bracket of content, all right? So email, do not sleep on that. And I said, it is a full-time job for a full-time paid professional or agency. And I would use the same principle. If you can find someone internal to begin with who's good, they're an A player, it will save you a lot of money. The only downside to maybe working with a contractor as an individual or an employee versus an agency is if they get ill or something happens, if they leave, sometimes it can leave you floundering, okay? So again, the important thing is you're involved in this as the operator, right? You literally, I don't mean micromanaging, but speak to them. What are you doing? How are we doing this? Learn how they think. Understand the reasons why they do what they do, like what's in the campaigns, how are we structuring this, what's the content pipeline looking like, how are we doing ads, what's working in other accounts. And this is the thing when we're looking for A players, is the team that you work with, you want them to be immersed in this world, okay? Your ads guy, I want him on Twitter, X, every day, in those forums, in those communities, speaking to other brands, looking at what's working. They're in the right email lists where they're obsessing over creative, or they're following big brand founders, all of this stuff, because success leaves clues. And there's so much information out there. If these guys are A players, they will be obsessed and they will just do one thing and they'll do it very well. Same with email. Okay, whether it's design, layout, copywriting, what's working for other brands. So again, they're being inspired. I don't mean they're copying, but they're emulating other brands who are in the same niche, or maybe they're just further ahead of you, because there's things you can take out of this and plug straight into your business, all right? And that is it, all right? That's 3. 1, 2, 3, okay? This is how we're getting to 2.4 million a year. That's it. If you want to look bigger picture, then yes, we will contract. So not employees, we can have contractors in customer service, for example. Again, it depends how multifaceted you want these guys to be, but you could technically also have an agency for content. But I think for this level business, the CEO can be really directly involved in the content side of things, because this is technically your role, is to push business development and growth. And business development and growth in e-commerce is purely solely focused on content generation. So when I talk content generation, I mean collaborations, I mean you're organizing shoots, you're getting directly involved in outreach, you're relationship building, you're leveraging others' audiences or YouTube or Instagram followings, all of this stuff. You're building relationships because it's your brand, okay? It needs to speak through you. And then you're also getting directly involved in content yourself. You're telling your story, you're educating customers on what the product does, what it doesn't do, how it works, why they should buy from you, just kind of building that narrative. You don't have to go so far as maybe being personal brand. But again, I think it's super important in the modern day that you as the founder, CEO, entrepreneur, chief problemologist, whatever you want to call yourself, are directly involved, okay? So ancillary hires for customer service rep. That says CSR, if you can't read my squiggly handwriting. And that's it. And the CSR, whilst we're on this, is obviously very important, because this here, I didn't start having a life in my business until I hired out a customer service agent. All right, now, again, you don't need to use like a big call center or anything. It can just be an individual, maybe based in the Philippines. Again, doesn't have to be expensive. They're self-motivated, inspired, but the amount of time and bandwidth having customer service built in saved me from solving problems. Where's the shipment gone? Issues with this, issues with that. And it takes me away from the vision. It takes me away from the business development side of things. The quicker you can get this, the better. And then on the back end, you have your supply chain logistics, which technically are all outsourced anyway. So I'm assuming you're not running your own manufacturing site. You don't have your own 3PL. So that's kind of a given. That's just infrastructure on the back end. But that is literally it. Like, this is how we're going to do 2.4 million a year. Of course, every one of these has its own strategy, which we can build out, and we could again probably do like a 10-hour YouTube video just on the role developments of each one of these and how to optimize them. But that is literally it. It's not difficult. You don't need to layer on crazy amounts of overhead, because in the beginning, you need to stay lean as an ecom business, particularly so if you don't have high margins built into your product. We want to make sure that we're profitable, but we also make sure that we're growing consistency and that we have a plan to push and fuel growth, and things don't just happen to us, okay? We're not just kind of getting pushed and pulled by the market. You're the one in control. You're the one captaining the ship. These are your key hires. In the beginning, it's okay to do them yourself, but only at small scale. If you want to actually divorce your income from your time, have a business that gives you time, location, financial freedom, having these hires will literally change your life. This is when things get interesting. This is when you get the bandwidth to actually focus on business growth and development. You have the vision, you're able to execute on it. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, stick them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Allow it.